Director of LAWSAN. I don't know if she's present with us. If you are present with us, please, I want to see a show of hand. Sorry, the Osun State Director of LAWSAN present with us. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I also want to recognize the President of Joseph Ayo Babalola University Law Student Society, Mr. Akikoye Toluwani. Are you present with us, sir? Thank you so much for joining us, sir. And to my wonderful and handsome co-host, I would like to recognize him, Senator Ayobami Olorunfemi. Are you present with us, sir? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think I would just go straight to the point. I would be introducing our speaker now so that won't take time. And please, if you have questions, just do well to note it down because we are going to be having 20 minutes for the answer and for the question and answer session, while we are going to be listening to Ambassador Richard for 20 minutes as well. So I'll be reading out the profile of our distinguished Ambassador Richard Solomon. Ambassador Richard Solomon is a final year law student of Osun State University with a deft balance of his academic, leadership, social, and business life. As an occupier of vital leadership positions, which includes Youth Ambassador of the ECOWAS and Global Ambassador, Dear World Organization, is very passionate about the SDGs, especially SDG 4, with several laurels from regional and international organizations for his contribution. Richard currently has 22 laurels, which includes, but not limited to, the Nelson Mandela Leadership Awards, West Africa's Most Innovative Law Student 2022, Nigeria's Most Promising Law Student 2022, Southwest Most Reputable Law Student 2022, and Certificate of Excellence by the Barack Obama's funded Young Africa Leaders Initiative in recognition of his giant leadership strides. This is so wonderful. He has volunteered and collaborated with several international organizations such as the United Nations, European Union, Youth Assembly, among others. He's a member, Young African Leadership Initiative, Amnesty Organization, student member, Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, member of the Institute for Transnational Arbitration, member of the Young Practitioners Group, Asian International Arbitration Center, and a member of the Young International Arbitration Group. Ambassador Solomon has as well interned in top law firms across Africa and globally by extension, firms like Banwo and Fabolo, Omaplex Law Firm, Olujumi and Akeredolu, also Slaughter and Main, Allen and Overy through Forage. Richard has also achieved in the business world through his prestigious men's clothing store that specializes in a gorgeous selection of kaftans and fashionable clothing with the aim of revolutionizing Africa's fashion industry. In the words of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, leadership and learning are inseparable to each other. Solomon Richard holds this quote firmly as he has continually made it a habit to best himself intellectually. As a law student, his interest lies in, but are certainly not limited to, human rights, constitutional law, and corporate law. I want to believe so well that we chose the best speaker for this topic tagged leadership and decision making, and I want us to welcome him in with a round of applause. If your mic is on mute or is muted, kindly unmute your mic and let's give our speaker a round of applause. Speaker so much, sir, for asking to speak on this wonderful topic. And we look forward to an interactive session with you. Thank you, sir. You are welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
I want to be sure that you can hear me.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
We can hear you, sir.
Very well then. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Madam Senator, for the beautiful citation. I'm very much grateful. Thank you so much for that beautiful citation. I also want to extend my appreciation to the National Senators representing Joseph Ayo Babalola University for the beautiful invitation, for inviting me to speak. This is a beautiful program. These are programs that we must encourage. These are programs that we must have time to time. These are programs that will continue to stimulate our brains. These are programs that will help us become persons of society. These are programs that will continue to inspire us to become an instrument of change in our society. So I'm very much grateful for the invitation, and I think that at the end of this session, we are going to learn something tangible, and we are going to take something beautiful home. So thank you so much to the National Senators who have invited me for this beautiful program. So very quickly, I've been tasked with the responsibility of speaking to us on leadership and decision making. And I've been given 20 minutes to speak on leadership and decision making. During the course of this session, we are going to learn about leadership. We are going to learn about qualities of leadership. We are going to learn about things that leaders should run away from. We're also going to learn about charging us. I'm going to charge us about how to become a good leader, and I'm also going to give us things that has worked for me personally as a leader and somebody that has held positions and is also holding positions presently. So first and foremost, let's start from talking about leadership. The concept of leadership. Leadership, when you look at your dictionary, and you look at the word leadership, the dictionary will bring out leadership as the ability to lead, or the quality of being able to lead, or the quality of being able to control. But to me personally, I feel like leadership transcends beyond just leading. Leadership is the ability to lead with clarity of purpose. Leadership is the ability to lead with clarity of mind, with intentionality. Leadership is the ability for you to say, I want to change the dynamics, I want to change the narratives that has been existing. Leadership is the ability for you to see the problem your people are facing, and for you to be able to provide possible and plausible solutions to those problems that your people are facing. Let's go back to the evolution of the society. Just like we have law, we would say that, okay, because there has been the existence of the society, and in every society we have the tall people, we have the short people, we have the thick people, we have the slim people, we have the middle class, we have the the lower class, we have the middle class, we have the higher class, we have the disparities, we have the light-skinned people, and we have the dark-skinned people. So just like it is imperative for us to have rules and regulation guiding the people in that particular society, so it is also very important that we have leaders who would represent the interest of the people. For instance, in Nigeria, we have about 180 million population. You do not expect that the 180 million people make decisions that affect all of them. That is why it's sacrosanct that we as individuals would choose representatives that would represent us, that would make decisions on our behalf, that would represent what we feel, that would defend us in time of need. That is why we have leaders who are representing us. And to me personally, I feel like just like the saying, charity begins at home, it's also leadership begins at home. Because when you look at the society, which is the smallest social unit in the society, we have the father guiding and directing his children, his family, his wife. We have the mother doing the same thing. We have at the point in time, we have the firstborn guiding his younger ones. That is leadership. When you check the school, from the in primary school, secondary school, you have class governors directing the affairs of their class. Just like that, it is a gradual process. It is something that it is like a stretch. At every point in time, at every position, we have leaders. When you're talking about leadership, you should not just focus on the president, the governor. Leadership is at every level, the grassroots level, the state level, and also the federal level. We have the chairman at that local government level. We have the House of Assembly members at the states. We have the Federal House of Representatives. We have the senators, and we have the presidency. Now, when you're looking at the concept of leadership, to me, Leadership is not about control. Leadership is about service to the people. A good leader is not that leader that is just looking for, okay, let me control my people. Leadership is about service. What is it that, your people are lacking? What is it that, your people are suffering from? What is that service that you are trying to provide for the people? That is the core essence of leadership. A good leader is not that leader that all you barely do is just to control people. No, leadership is about service to the people. And when you are talking about service to the people, it means you have to bring in the doctrine of humility. A leader is that person that is humble. You are humble to your followers. You are trying as much as possible to make sure that those people that you are leading, they are enjoying and benefiting one thing or the other from your leadership. So once they are enjoying one thing or the other from your leadership, that is when we can say, oh, you're a good leader. Also, leadership is not about power. Leadership is about empowerment. Leadership is not about, oh, I have power, I have this power. When I'm talking about power, I don't mean the power of this Odumeje pastor. I'm not talking about Ganduje, Kabus Dabash. I'm not talking about those powers. Leadership is not about, I just have power. Leadership is empowering your people, whether physically, whether psychologically, whether emotionally, whether spiritually. Make sure that you are empowering your people. That, okay, you are a faculty president in your university, and students of your faculty, let's say students of a faculty from 100 level to 200, 300, they can say, oh, this guy started his administration January 2024. This is March 2024. Between the scope of January to March, this is what we have been able to do. This is what we've been able to achieve. This is what this person has empowered us with. So leadership is not basically about you having power. Leadership is about you empowering the people that you are leading. Also, leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of the people who have been put in your charge. Do you understand? Leadership is not just, oh, who is the president of this faculty? This is the person. Who is the senator of this representing these people? It is this person. It is not just about being in charge or being a bench warmer or being the figurehead in that particular position. One of those things that we as young individuals criticize our leaders in Nigeria for is, okay, you send your House of Representative member to the to the National House of Assembly, and the person is sitting there, a legislator that is not sponsoring bills for you, a legislator that is not speaking on your behalf, a legislator that you don't even see on TV and is representing your constituency. So in that instance, the leader, that leader is just in charge. That leader is not, you are just being in charge of that position. You're not doing what is expected of you as a leader. Now, after understanding the concept of leadership, I want us to differentiate between leadership and management. Most times people, they try to mix up the concept of leadership and management. Quickly, let me say prestissimo, that there is a clear difference between leadership and management. We are talking about management here. Management is simply, in management here, you have much information and you have a lot of time to make decisions that would affect a wide spectrum of people. So basically, I'm saying in management, you have a wide information, a larger information, a large information. You have a large time or much time to make decisions that would affect much people. However, in leadership, most times in leadership, you do not even have much information, and you have limited time to make decisions that would affect a wide spectrum of people. That is what will take us to qualities of a good leader. Because most times when you have to make decisions for the people, when you have to make decisions that would either make or mar the people, you have to be innovative. So one of the qualities of a good leader is innovation. Innovation, creativity is what will bring about productivity and excellence. Let me break it down. A good leader is such leader that you can think outside the box. You can think on your toes. There are times that as leaders, you have to make critical decisions that affect your people. As a president of a faculty, as a class governor, or being at the SUG level, there are times where you have to make decisions for your people. There are times where you have to make decisions without even consulting people, without even going to meet the people. But because you are their leader, they believe whatever you do, whatever you say is in the best interest of the people. So such leader or any leader must possess the skill of you must be innovative. You must be able to think outside the box. That is the first quality of a good leader. You must have that innovation. You must have that innovative mindset to think outside the box. Another quality of a good leader is sacrifice. A good leader must be able to sacrifice. You must, as leaders, most times before you see somebody that will follow you. Most times, if you don't want to be, when you look at the concept of leadership and politics, if you don't want to be, a random politician, if you want to be the politician that is regarded as the people's politician, you have to be a sacrificial leader. You have to be that leader that you have the ability to give to people. You have the ability to share what you have with the people. And when you talk about sacrifice, it does not necessarily mean you are giving them money. It does not mean you are giving them something financially. When you sacrifice, sometimes you have knowledge about something and you sacrifice it to another person. Those are things that we are talking about. Financially, it is part. You see somebody that is thinking, or you see a student of a faculty thinking about something is bothering him, or the ability to be able to talk to that person, sacrificing your time at that particular point in time to talk to somebody about what is bothering you. These are sacrifices you make, for leadership. Also, when you see people who hold positions, they are sacrificing something. They are sacrificing their time, they are sacrificing their energy, they are sacrificing their resources. Most times, at every level in the university, you see ESCOs or executives or the Central Executive Council paying dues. Those dues that they are paying is from their money, their personal money. They are paying those dues for the betterment of the people. They are sacrificing something for the people. So another quality of a good leader is what? Sacrifice. You must learn to make sacrifice. Also, another thing about, another quality of a good leader is diplomacy. And the concept of diplomacy is linked with decision making. When I said earlier, I said a good leader must know how to think outside the box. You must be able to take decisions that will critically and positively affect your people. Now, when you're talking about diplomacy, a good leader must be diplomatic. In Yoruba language, I'm sorry for people who do not understand Yoruba here. In Yoruba language, we used to say something. The Yorubas used to say Moja Mosala Makikoju, meaning that a good warrior is such warrior that knows when to fight and knows when to run from the battlefield. A good leader, even in comradeship, in Aluta, we have 3 C's. We have consultation, we have consolidation, and we have confrontation. So before you confront the university management, you must have done consultation, you must have done consolidation. So a good leader knows when to bend from his principle. Some years ago, Nelson Mandela said something. Nelson Mandela is somebody who I hold in high esteem. He's a mentor, He's a legend, when you're talking about the African political system. Nelson Mandela said something of which I personally do not think I buy. Nelson Mandela said a good leader is such leader that does not bend his principle for the present time. Me, in my opinion, I feel that a good leader is such leader that is able to bend some principle of ease, just to make positive decisions for his people. As a good leader, there are times wherein, you are standing on this particular point. As a good leader, sometimes for critical decisions, for decisions that affect your people, you have to tilt a bit, you have to bend, you have to change something from the normal way at which it used to be done. You have to, calm down, you have to change something from the normal system at which it is being done. That is part of the quality of a good leader. Also, one of the quality of a good leader to his followers it includes correction. Let me say something here. We are probably about 50 here. Let me say something to you all. That you are seeing on your screen, Ambassador Richard Solomon, I smoke. I take cigarettes, and I'm very sure immediately I said Ambassador Richard Solomon, I take cigarettes. Majority of the people here will be thinking, what sort of a speaker is this? Even if you are smoking, why are you saying it here? However, when I came on, I said, I eat chocolate a lot. You people will not think about me eating chocolate a lot. But I'll tell you today that just as we have, smoking that affects the lungs, the same number of people that die as a result of diabetes is the same number of people that die as a result of lungs problem. Now, if I tell you today that I take too much of, sneaker chocolates, for instance, majority of you know have problem. So just because I said I have I smoke now, majority of you think, this person is a bad person. Now calm down for what I'm saying. Now, the beautiful part of this thing that I'm saying today is that lungs cancer or problem of the lungs is not caused by smoking, it is caused by DNA. All of these things that I'm saying does not apply to me. This was the same statement that a man made 3 months ago. He said this statement, and when he said this statement, that particular statement of his influenced two of his friends to start smoking. I personally do not smoke. I just made that picture, that setting of what that man said. I made an illustration of what that man said that particular day. And what am I trying to bring out from this particular thing? It is words, the way we present some things to people. Just because I said I smoke and I've been able to defend it, that it is not smoking that causes lung cancer, or it is not smoking that affects the lungs. Some of you from this group or from this podium or from this platform will start thinking that, oh, it is probably not bad to smoke, but it is very bad to smoke. I have just presented it logically. So a good leader at every point in time must be able to project his words, positively. There is a way you correct your people. There is so much power in words. There is a way you present your words to people that it will positively or negatively affect them. Let's say, for instance, you are the president of a faculty and you've given a task or an assignment to somebody to do for you, and such person didn't do it. Such person didn't fulfill the responsibility that he or she is supposed to do. As a good leader, when you want to correct that person, you're not to say, oh, you are stupid, or you are foolish, I expected you to do this, you didn't do that, oh, you have messed the whole system up, blah 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 blah. No, sometimes a good leader, you have to say, oh, Adiola, I expected you to do this thing. If you do not do this thing, it is going to affect us negatively. Please do this particular thing. Generally, correction is not a rejection. However, as much as correction is not a rejection, when you want to correct somebody, make sure that you try as much as possible to look at the words that come out from your mouth. Make sure that those words that come from your mouth is not something that would have a negative effect on somebody's emotional well-being. For instance, let's say you have a son of 4-year-old, and your room is probably painted white. Then the son, before you came back from work, the son took a crayon or picked a crayon and started painting the white paint with crayon. Believe me, if you come back from work and you see the child and you are frowning and you're like, oh, blah blah blah, you have spoiled this work, that child at that particular point in time will feel like, oh, why is this man shouting? But personally, I believe if you call that child for the first instance and tell that child, oh, this thing that you have done is wrong, as you have seen, this painting on the wall is going to, disfigure this particular setting of this room, I believe that logically that child is going to have a reconsideration of, oh, this thing that I've done is not particularly good. However, if you've done it first time, second time, third time, that is when you can now bring in punishment that, oh, I've corrected you first time, second time, third time, and you're doing the same thing over and over again, then you need to be punished. So part of the qualities of a good leader is that a leader must, learn to choose words. A leader must learn to look at the words and look at how he or she brings out the words and how those words affect the people. Another thing that leaders should, now I'm leaving the qualities of leadership or of a good leader, I'm going to things that a leader must run from. First and foremost, a good leader must run from corruption. You see, Nigeria and Africa as a whole, one of those things that is affecting us currently is corruption. Nigeria as a country can be described as a hen sitting with corn and yet dying of hunger. We have so many natural resources, we have so many human resources, and yet we are still dying of hunger. Do you understand? We are still dying of hunger just because of what? Just because of corruption. Corruption is a cankerworm that's eating deep into every fabric, into every nook and cranny of our society. So if we as young individuals, we are criticizing those people that are there today, that those people are corrupt, then we as individuals, we as young individuals, we must not condone corruption at any instance, at any point in time. Corruption is not something that we should ever think of. In Africa today, we have 54 countries in Africa. We have about 33 currencies in Africa. And you agree with me that none of these 33 currencies is used to close deal or close transactions in Africa. It is only in Africa that you see, people bring in the US dollars, the UK pounds to close transactions. In Africa, none of the 33 currencies or 34 currencies that we have are used to close transactions. It is painful. So if all of these things are happening in Africa, then we as young individuals, we must learn that leadership, we must learn to take responsibility from that position that you are in. You must not believe that, okay, it is when you get to the position of a governor that you would change something. From that class that you have been given the mandate to, secure, make sure that you are doing something positive in that environment. You should say to yourself every morning, Nigeria and Africa will not remain the same just because I existed. The country will not remain the same, because you existed. Make sure that as young individuals, we stand up to take responsibility. We stand up to change the dynamics and the narratives of the system. We stand up to revolutionize the system. We stand up to say, oh, this thing is not going well. We must do something about this particular thing. And it does not, it is not until you get to the position of the presidency or the position of a senator or the position of a federal House of Representative member before you become a catalyst for the needed change. From that small position that you have been given, you can become a catalyst for the needed change. And also, I want to say that the best of leaders are also students of leadership. Just as we hear that learning is a continuous process. The best of leaders are also leaders that are trying as much as possible to learn something. Just as we do not have expert parents, there's no parent that is an expert. God is just giving them the grace and the enablement to guide and man the affairs of the house. Similarly, there is no perfect leader, there is no expert leader. Leadership is a continuous process. The best of leaders are those leaders that they continue to learn at every point in time. That is why you will see the World Bank president, the ministers, the president, they're going for symposiums, they're going for conferences, they're going for activities that is going to stimulate their brains. They're going for events that would help them propagate new ideas. They go for events that would be of positive influence to their lives. So as leaders, we must continue to learn. We must continue to learn something. So if you learn every day, if you learn something new, it would open your mind. You tend to be creative and you tend to be innovative. Now, conclusively, just because I have 20 minutes, I would say that, because the majority of the questions that would come up in our minds as student leaders is, how do I strike a balance between the competing and conflicting interests of leadership and academics? I have the desire to make a CGPA of 4.5, 4.2, 4.3, 5.0, as the case may be. And I have a problem striking a balance with my academics and leadership. How do I do the two together? One thing is, you must first and foremost know yourself. You must know what works for you as a person. What is that thing that works for you? Are you that person that reads in the morning? Are you that person that reads in the afternoon? Are you that person that is able to multitask? If you feel like, okay, this semester you must properly strike you must probably strike out what is it that you are planning for this semester or this session. Okay, this session or this particular semester, I want to make a CGPA of 4.2, for instance. I also want to hold leadership positions. Now, because of that desire of yours, God answers your prayer, and let's say about 4 positions or even about 3 organizations, let's say about 3 organizations within your university and 4 organizations outside your university, they bring, opportunities to you, they appoint you for one position or the other. As somebody who intends to, propagate or strike a balance between the conflicting interests, you have to know when to accept and reject appointments. You do not accept every appointment. You do not say, because I want to make sure that my CV is filled, I want to make sure that people see me as a capacity, I want to make sure that people see me as the best in all. You take some things that is going to affect you. Know when to take appointment, know when not to take appointment. Also, time management is very essential.
Sit down.
Oh, so sorry about that. Please, can you mute yourself, MW official?
So, as I was saying, a good. Sorry, I lost it. But let me get it back. As I was saying, a good leader is such leader that you are able to, have proper time management. You have a book for yourself. Let's say a diary. You write out those plans of yours. Okay, today I want to achieve this thing. By 2 p.m. I want to go for this meeting. By 3 p.m. I want to do this thing. By 4 p.m. I want to go back to my book. And you want to make sure that you have proper time management. Make sure that you know what works for you. And conclusively, before we go to the question session, one thing that is very much important that we as individuals hold is prayer. The place of prayer cannot and can never be overemphasized, in the sense that we are creatures of God. We are His creatures, and of course, when you have creatures, that means there is a creator somewhere. So all of us have been created for a particular purpose. That we have been created for a particular purpose, meaning that you are on this earth, you're on the planet to fulfill that purpose at which you have been given birth to. So if through the process you get tired, you get overwhelmed by that particular thing that you're facing, you have to go back to God. Go back to God and tell God, you have created me for a purpose. and I am getting tired. Your son, your daughter is getting tired. My Lord, give me strength. Ask for strength when it is needed. Pray to God. So as leaders, we must learn to do what? Pray to God as at when due. Pray to God when it is necessary. And finally, on prayer, prayer without work is dead, just as we have it in the Bible, and I think the Muslims will have it in the Quran too. It is in Africa when we pray, we say, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's only in Africa that we pray such prayer that the will of God will be done on earth, and after praying that prayer, we do our own will and not allow the will of God to be done. It is only in this part of the world when, after saying that the will of God should be done, that we engage in corruption again, that will go back to loot the public funds, that will go back to inadequacies, that will go back to things that affect the people negatively. It is only in this part of the world that we say, let the will of God be done on earth. If we want the will of God to be done on earth, that means we must do what? We must ensure that all factors that will necessitate the will of God to be done on earth is fulfilled and it is manifested. We must make sure that as leaders, as representatives, from today henceforth, we begin to see ourselves as the catalyst for the needed change. We begin to see ourselves as instrument of change. We begin to see ourselves as that person that is going to cause Nigeria to be a better place, that is going to make Africa a better place. So I'm going to leave you with this charge that no matter the ail that shake the goal, our dreams are solid, our dreams are valid, and nothing is going to happen to them. We all are going to make the best of leaders, and we all are going to make ourselves, our parents, our country, and by extension, our continent proud. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Sorry, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma. We can hear you, ma.
Oh, that was a very short. Okay, please, before we continue, I want us to use our clap emoji to celebrate this great session. Please, or we can actually unmute ourselves and clap. Once again, thank you so much, staff, for that wonderful talk. I really don't know, but I feel so happy and glad. Cover a lot on leadership and decision making. And yes, I did not make a mistake, or we, the senators representing Joseph Ayo Babalola University, did not make a mistake by choosing you as the best speaker for this topic. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate you. And we are going to be moving on to the question and answer session right now. If you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. I know you must have a lot of questions. We have 20 minutes for questions, so there is time. So if you have questions, raise your hand, and then I'll call you to ask your question. Okay, Christian Adegu, you can go on with your question.
Wow.
All right, Grace.
All right.
Yes,
I want to first. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. You're audible.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the session. It was really useful and really enlightening. So I just want to ask that, do you have any useful tips for someone who is probably an introvert and wants to take on leadership positions?
Thank you so much for that beautiful question. If I got you right, the question is, do I have any tip or tips for any introvert?
Someone naturally introvert, like any useful tips for them, like when they want to take up leadership positions, so that they push away that fear of shyness and all.
Thank you very much for that beautiful question. Number one factor is prayer. You pray for strength, you pray for courage, you pray for boldness, you pray for the ability to face the crowd, face the public, and also represent your people. Number one. Also, another thing that helps you, over times, that helps you to be a good leader, that gives you that strength, is when you read a lot of books. There are times at which you read books, and that book will give you confidence. That book will somehow just push you to instill that it will push away the fear and instill courage in you to do something, to go beyond that your fear. It will tell you that, oh, you can break barriers, you can do this particular thing. So when you pray, when you read books, another thing that can help you as an introvert is that you try as much as possible to probably connect to more people, or if you do not want to connect to much people, you can possibly choose people that you want to connect with, people that have passed through that particular stage. You can call them mentor. Yeah, people that have passed through that particular stage, or people that have done that thing that you want to do. Just make sure that you have conversations with them, conversations that would, over time, when you're talking about you're an introvert and you want to control people, you want to do this, you do not necessarily have to change overnight. It is something that it is a gradual process. When you pray, when you read books, when you consult leaders or you consult mentors, and you bring all of this together, I'm definitely sure that you're going to pass through that phase and you're going to be a good leader. And let me say conclusively that leadership is not for extrovert alone. Yeah, leadership is not for extrovert alone. Leadership, when you look at leadership, you do not necessarily need to be the head of that particular thing. When we are talking about leadership, let's for instance say we have an executive council. The head of that executive council could be the president. However, there are some committees. When you come on board, you say we have editorial committee, we have this committee, we have that committee. From that particular committee, you are making a positive change and you are leading. And that thing you are doing is what we call leadership. So leadership does not necessarily mean you are the forefront of it. No. From every angle, from every point, from any position, be it the smallest, be it the littlest, thing that you are doing, it is leadership. You understand? So you do not necessarily have to be the fourth person that is doing that particular thing before you say you are the leader or you are doing leadership. No, leadership starts from that small stage of yours. So for an introvert to be a good leader, you pray to God, you read books, you consult leaders, and I'm very certain that you would make a good leader. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, what a very great reply to that wonderful question. Thank you so much, Grace. Olagunju. Okay, Kristen, are you here already? All right.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Question.
Yeah, I have a question, or let me say 3 questions, please. Please, am I audible enough?
Oh yes, definitely. I can hear you. You're loud and clear.
Okay. My questions go thus, sir. First, how many appointments is it okay, or how many appointments are okay for someone to handle on an average level as a leader? How many appointments? And 2, how do I differentiate the appointment to accept and the appointment to decline? Then 3, if I have a whole lot of spaces in which I occupy as a leader, how do I dissolve some to be effective? Should I come again, sir, or you heard everything?
Yeah, I think I'm very excited with the first and second. Let me just get the third one.
Okay. Let's say I am a leader in so many spaces. So now I can see that I'm not effective because there are too many. So how do I dissolve some for my effectiveness to be, to be seen?
Thank you very much. That question. So if I got you, your first question is how many appointments do I think, in my opinion, is okay, for an average person to say, oh, you are doing leadership. I think that question is subjective, sort of, because what works for me or what works for you is not the same. However, generally in the grand scheme of things, I think an average of 3 is okay for you. If you're able to multitask, if you're able to handle something, because if it is too much, believe me, you're not going to. It is just a natural law that you cannot give 100% concentration to everything. So if you do not want to be that leader that is lacking behind in one position, make sure that you have those positions, or you accept those positions, that you'll be able to focus and concentrate on, and you'll be able to bring out positive and your desired results for those positions. Because one of those things that would make you a good leader is the ability to have clear-cut goals. That is why I said in my definition of leadership that leadership is not just about leading. Leadership is about leading with intentionality and clear-cut objectives. So for those, if you cannot have clear-cut objectives or clear-cut missions, and you'll be able to achieve all of those clear-cut objectives and missions for about 7 appointments here. So if you're able to streamline, let's say about 3, an average of 3, I think you should be able to strike that balance between 2 and 3. You get? So if you do not, let's say 1 is too small, yeah, just make sure that it is not more than 2 or 3 for an average. I think that answers the first question. For your second question, what appointment do you accept and what appointment do you decline? There are 2 ways to answer, or there are two ways to go about this. Number 1 is your passion. What is that particular thing you are passionate about? Those appointments that are coming, are they in line with your passion? Because that passion is your driving force. That passion is what will keep you going even when you are tired. That passion is what will tell you, Richard, you have to keep on doing this thing. Because passion is definitely natural. It is something you are passionate about, so you are concerned about it at every point in time. So number 1, you look at the appointments. Are they in line with things that I'm passionate? Are they things that I'm passionate about? Yes, if there are things that you're passionate about, fine. That qualifies it. Another thing that you consider on how to accept or decline appointment is, what is the preference of this appointment? In economics, we have scale of preference. The organizations that wants to appoint me, how significant are they? How big are these organizations? Okay, if I tell somebody that I am the director of media and publicity of this organization, and I am also the secretary of this organization, which one is going to, give me or give the audience the tendency or the feeling that, you're serving in a big organization? Do you understand? After you might have checked your passion, you must make sure that you check your passion first and foremost. After you might have checked your passion, that next thing that will work for you is the preference of that organization. I think that answers the second question. And 2, you have much leadership positions that you're handling. So how are you able to drop some, and how are you able to focus on some? It is still streamlined to your passion here. Your passion is very important. Your passion is very essential. You should not do things that you are not passionate about. So if you have much leadership positions that you're handling, I think that one is affecting one. The best way to think of, or to bring it down, or to streamline it, or to focus is just which one am I more concerned about? You personally think about it deeply. Which one are you more passionate about? And I think you would be able to make the best decision for yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for answering that question. Very quickly, and thank you so much, sir. So we are going to be moving on to Olagunju Joseph.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I greet everyone in the house, and I would like to appreciate our guest speaker. He has been a friend and a brother since secondary school days, and I will thank him for the experience he has been given since the beginning, although I apologize for coming late. My question goes thus. You've been in various leadership positions, and you've gone through some challenges that have been involved in partnering with agencies that are in Nigeria and probably outside Nigeria. So my question is that, how were you able to mobilize a relationship with them from the onset? And how are you able to sustain that relationship with them for you to achieve the purpose at which you got in touch with them in the first instance? I don't know if you get my question.
You are very clear, my brother. You are very clear. Thank you so much, and it's nice hearing from you. Just like he said, he's been a friend right from secondary school, and I'm very much proud of you. So going to your question, you said I have served in numerous capacities. I have, had relationship, strike partnership with organizations within the country and outside the country. How am I able to, bring about this relationship, and how am I able to sustain this relationship? Number 1, let me say to you that your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. Number 1, as a person, as a leader, you must learn to know that that you cannot do it alone. Permit me, I'm a Yoruba boy, permit me to go back to that Yoruba proverb that says it means you as a person cannot do it alone. It is more of the principle of collective responsibility. So as humans, number one, permanently, and what you cannot do it alone. So you have to strike partnership. How do you strike partnership? Number one, as a leader, you have to brand yourself personally. As the leader of that organization, you have to brand yourself personally. Number two, you have to brand that organization that you're representing. You see, life is very simple. The games or the rules and regulations that guides life, they are very simple. It is that nobody in this life is ready to partner or do business with anybody that will bring problem to them. So everybody wants to partner or do business with somebody that would also bring value to them. So it is until you have, you've branded yourself properly. So when you are bringing in negotiation or partnership to somebody, they see you as, this person is a potential. They are not seeing you as a liability. They are seeing you as, if we partner with this person, there's possibility that we also get advantage from this person. That said, you should also note that one of those ways by which you can see opportunities is through social media platform. You have your LinkedIn there. Make sure that you have a beautiful LinkedIn profile as a leader that is trying to make partnership on behalf of his people. So if you have a beautiful LinkedIn profile and when you want to message somebody, you have a captivating profile, there's no way you message anybody. Yeah, believe me, anybody that there's no way you message them and when they check your profile, they say, this person is that, and they will not want to respond to you. And also, I believe this is what we all know already, that we are in the 21st century, that when you're connecting with somebody on social media, you do not go about saying, hi, good morning, and you expect the person to say, how are you? Then you say, I'm fine, so how is your night? Then the next day you come back to say, I'm fine. It does not work that way. We're in the 21st century, wherein as a professional, as a leader, when you want to communicate with somebody, you go straight to the point. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Richard Solomon. I am a Part 5 law student of Osun State University. I am an ambassador of ECOWAS. I am this, I am that. I am connecting with you because of this, that. You have inspired me. So you state the details of why you are connecting with that person. Because now everybody is busy. Even myself at my level, you do not expect that you message me. Let's say after this program, after this webinar, you want to connect with me. Then I probably give you my Instagram handle and you want to message me and you say hi. Then I say, how are you? Then you come back. No, it does not work that way. You go straight to the point. Now, to the part of how do you maintain relationship. Now, as I have said earlier, you have to be a value captain. Make sure that the person that is negotiating or that is partnering with you are seeing you as a value captain. Another thing is when you network with somebody, you do not jeopardize that relationship by asking for money or by asking for financial help immediately. These are things that have ruined leaders over time. You are connecting with somebody. Of course, it is no doubt that you need that particular thing at that particular point in time. However, what you should think about in that particular instance is, before you met that person, have you not been surviving? Before you met that person, if you did not meet that person, there's possibility that that particular challenge you are facing, you could have taken it to another person. Do you understand? So make sure that you avoid taking your problems to that particular person. So when they see that you are messaging them for money, next time when you have something serious for them, they tend not to respond to you. But when they know that, this person do not message me anyhow. So when you message them, they tend to react, even if they did not react immediately. Even in the space of 2-3 days, they react to you. There's no way they are going to shun your message. Even if at all they shun your message, and it is only when you've got into a big extent, or when you're in a relationship that you say, I don't want to double text. There are some instances where you are the one looking for favor, you are the one looking for help. When you message somebody and the person does not reply in the space of 2-3 days, you double text. Even when you are applying for career opportunities, you send your application to a firm. First day, second day, they don't reply. You send another reminder mail to them. Do you understand? So you must learn that spirit of consistency. So I believe that will be enough. Thank you so much, Joseph. However, I'm your friend. You can always message me and we'll have more discussion on this particular one that you have asked. Thank you very much.
Oh, Mr. Richard said, I believe that should be enough. Definitely, that is actually a lot. Thank you so much, sir. Mofe, please go ahead. And please, if your mic is on mute, kindly mute yourself now. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Emmanuel Mofe. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Mr. Richard. I've learned a lot from it. But my question goes like this. When you know that you're a leader and people see you as a leader, how do you put yourself first without seeming like you're selfish or you're not considering others, especially when you need a break or when you feel overwhelmed? That's one. And then two, how do you deal with setbacks and self-doubt as a leader that people expect so much from? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that beautiful question. Please kindly help me with the second question again. I think I got the first one, and kindly help me with the second one. Thank you.
My second question was, how do you deal with setbacks and self-doubt as someone that people expect so much from? After already being hard on yourself, how do you deal with setbacks and self-doubt?
Sorry, what then is the first one? I'm very sorry.
The first one, when you're a leader and people see you as a leader, how do you put yourself first without seeming selfish or inconsiderate, especially when you need a break?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that beautiful question. You know, there's this friend of mine, we call him Abdurazak Gidado. Probably some of the LAWSAN people here would know him. He's now in the Nigerian Law School. He once contested for the National Director of Socials of the Law Student Association of Nigeria at the national level. And his slogan is putting people first, putting you first. That is his own slogan. You see, one thing that would help you as a leader is there are times that you make certain decisions. Yeah, there are times that you make certain decisions that at that point that you're making the decision, you have to make the decision for your own best interest. You know, you have to make that decision for your best interest because you are the one that you are facing the challenge. You are that one person that you know what you are going through. You are that one person that you understand the shoes at which you are in, the position at which you are in. So whatever decision that you make for yourself is, I think you should, whatever decision that you make for yourself at that particular point in time is very important and essential to you. However, for you to be able to make that decision, it depends on the type of relationship or the type of leadership you are giving to your people over time. Let's say you are that particular leader that on a normal level you are always overwhelmed. There is no time that you are not overwhelmed. From the beginning of the semester, from the beginning of the time you have been given that portfolio, you have been overwhelmed. There has been no time that there is no way your people would believe you. They understand. But naturally, you have been working, you have been up and doing, and somehow you are overwhelmed. Naturally, you personally, you have that satisfaction that, I have tried to a considerable and large extent. So when you make that decision to go off or to take a break, it would make sense to every reasonable man. You know, even in law, we apply the reasonable man test. So in this instance, we apply the reasonable man test. So if you are that person that you have done something consistently over times and for some reasons you have to take a break, take the break, it is needed. Do you understand? But if you are not the type that you don't do much on a normal day, you don't, when they say do this one, it's voila. When they say do that one, I'm stressed. When they say do this one, it's problem. There's no way. So when you tell your people you are overwhelmed, there is no way they will believe you. Do you understand? So as a good leader, you must make sure that over time, you must have been dispensing value, you must have been dispensing capacity, you must have been showing your people the true essence of leadership. So when you intend to take break, they are definitely going to understand. And if they do not understand, after you have satisfied your conscience and the reasonable man test, my sister, it is left to them to handle. Thank you very much. And also, how do you help self-doubt? If that is the second one, am I right? If that is the second one, how do you help self-doubt?
How do you deal with self-doubt and setbacks?
Okay, basically, number one, before you lead the people, you must first and foremost believe in yourself. You must, as a matter of importance and as a matter of fact, believe in your capacity. You must believe in your skills. However, naturally, it is normal that we have setback. There are times when, no matter how strong you are, no matter how built you are to, restrain, problems, there is no way. Naturally, there are times in which you face setbacks, but there is no problem that is bigger than you. That is what you should know, number one. And there is no problem that is bigger than your God. That is when you know that, okay, personally, number one, as a leader, you are God's representative on earth. It is just like you being a lawyer. Lawyers, generally, we are God's representatives. That is why most times you see when you need letter of recommendations, They either say go to your pastor, go to imam, or go to a lawyer. Because the three of us, so the priest, all of us, we are God representatives on earth. We have so many, we represent God on earth. We represent an interest on earth. So as leaders, as lawyers, we represent God's interest. So that means if you are representing his interest, at every point in time, you must have that connection and that relationship with God. So when you have setbacks, the first person you run to is your God that, oh, blah, 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 this problem I'm facing, I have said it earlier. Another thing that helps you when you face setback is what the ability to see yourself as an overcomer, that okay, for me to get to this particular stage at which I am going to overcome this particular problem. You see that problem as a problem that you are going to overcome. You see that problem as something that, oh no, I have done this before, I am going to do it again. I am me, I am beautiful, I am bold, I am courageous, I am me, I am representing people. And for you to say you are representing people, it means a large number of people are depending on you. So you need strength, to thrive even in the face of setbacks, even in the face of challenges. So how do you help self-doubt? You believe in yourself, you believe in God, you constantly believe in yourself. And also, I believe that in periods of setback, it takes a toll on your mental stability. One of those things you do, you exercise, you talk to people, you connect to people, you sleep when it is needed, you take drinks when it is needed, you eat when it is needed, you listen to music when it is needed. You do all of these things that would help you, get a balance with your mental stability, and with you believing in yourself, with you having confidence in yourself and believing in God. I believe you are definitely going to overcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So we are going to be taking questions from Israel, Ruki, and Ashake. So we'll start with Ruki. Ruki, if you are on the call, I want to believe that you have. Please kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, Israel, are you on the call?
No, I'm on the call. Oh.
Okay, yeah, Ruki, kindly ask your question. Then afterwards, Israel would ask his. Then would conclude with Ashake. Oh, Ashake. Then after Ashake, Lady A and L, then would conclude with the question and answer session. Thank you.
Okay, good evening to the host and the convener, and good evening to the ambassador. My question borders on time management. Do you have any tips, apart from the one you mentioned about having a diary, to ensure that I manage my time properly? Because I find that is an issue with me in having to switch quickly in between tasks, and to ensure that I don't get carried away and suffer through something like time blindness. Thank you. Sorry, that's my first question. And then my second question is on internship. Do you have any tips on cold emailing a firm to ask for an internship opportunity? Thank you.
Thank you so much for the beautiful question. The one is on time management and second is on internship. So very quickly, for time management, one of those ways by which or at which you can, have the balance of, being able to get hold of your activities, all of those things that you plan to do, is number one, you avoid procrastination. Procrastination, they say, is the thief of time. You do not procrastinate. It helps time management. It aids time management. For instance, you have to do something by 2, and somehow in your head you believe, no, let me just chill small. You are probably having a conversation with somebody, and so you are supposed to go for a meeting, or you are supposed to do something that is very much important. But if you, I'm going to cover up, you do not procrastinate when you are doing time management, because time management is something that you must do it as at the time you have scheduled it for. So if at all you are going to, not have an accurate time, it should not be more than 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes after that particular time. But you're having a conversation, and you are how do I put it? You are so much overwhelmed, you are so much engrossed here with the conversation or with that thing that you are doing, then you've forgotten about you. You say, okay, I will cover up. Then 20 minutes, 30 minutes after, you've still not gone to that thing at which you're supposed to do. Believe me, you are not doing time management. So one of those things that would help you in time management is what? You do not procrastinate. That time that you have set it for, make sure that you do it when it is due. So when you talk about internship, I'm going to say a little, and I'm going to send you a link where I've spoken about internship on YouTube. So basically about internship, I've said it numerous times that in Nigeria, as law students, we should desire for the best. And when you want to, when you should desire for the best, you should have an A plan. So if A plan does not work, then you can consider B plan. If however you want to, if at all you want to, intend to do an internship in Nigeria, make sure that you aim for top tier firms in Nigeria. And top tier firms in Nigeria, in no particular order, we have Banwa, Nigodalo, and Uebode, Kena Partners, Babalakin, Olaniwa Ajayi, we have Udo Doma Bello Sake, we have a lot of top tier law firms in Nigeria. And the best way at which you can apply for internship is you have a proper CV and you have a cover letter. Your CV bears in the details of all the things that you've been able to achieve. And for you to be for a standard CV for a law student is no more than 2 to 3 pages, and you have a beautiful cover letter. Get the HR mail of the firm you want to send it to. Get the mail and make sure that whenever you want to send in your application, you do not send it on a Monday, because most times majority of these top tier law firms, personally I think that this is something that has worked for people beside me and myself. You do not send it on Monday, because most times those firms get a lot of messages, a lot of mails on a Monday. So there's possibility of them not seeing your mail or seeing your application. But when you send it on a Tuesday or Wednesday, there's much possibility that they're going to see your application. So for internship, get the proper CV, get the proper cover letter, get the proper HR mail, send in a beautiful application. Advisably, don't send on the Monday, send on any other day of the week. And I wish you the very best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Israel then would... Yeah, please, Israel, you can unmute yourself and talk.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone.
Yes, good evening. I can hear you.
Yeah. Special appreciation to the organizers of this webinar, and special thanks to our speaker, Ambassador Richard Solomon, for the brilliant insight he has given so far. My question is that, as someone aspiring to be a leader, apart from contesting for leadership posts, what other steps or things can such person do to achieve that aim?
Thank you so much, Israel. So, thank you for the kind words. Your question is basically centered on, apart from contesting for leadership posts, what other things do you do to be a leader, if I'm right? Is that it? Israel, are you there?
Yes, I think that's the question he asked.
So basically, you'd even realize that majority of the things I've been saying about leadership, no, I've really mentioned much on contesting or you contesting for positions in your school. Majority of those things I've been saying includes, getting appointment, or is focused more on appointment. You see, there are many organizations. There are many organizations that you can work for without necessarily contesting. What these people need is for you to, you must have carved a niche for yourself. They must believe that you can do it. There are many times where organizations are going to drop application or opportunities or recruitment process. Apply for them. When you apply for them with your CV and all of these things, you are going to get. So without necessarily contesting, you are holding a position, you are doing something, you are working in the organizations, and all of these things that you are doing without necessarily contesting, you put them in your CV, you put them in your curriculum vitae. So without necessarily contesting, you can do a lot of things. The ministers that we have in the country, they got their position by virtue of appointment. The commissioners that we have in the state, they got their position by virtue of appointment. So you do not necessarily have to contest before you become a leader or before you exercise leadership. I believe that answers the question. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the last question would be taken for today. Ashake, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Okay, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Good evening, our guests, and good evening, the host. Now, my question, I have two questions. The first question is, do you believe that some people are induced leader while some train themselves to be a leader? There's this belief that some people are born leaders. That's the question number one. Question number two is, how do you differentiate between a confident and an overconfident person? Like, if you are someone that people used to tell you, oh, you are overconfident. Meanwhile, you are seeing it as just being confident. So how are you going to know that you are overconfident or you are just confident? Those are my questions, sir.
Mr. Solomon, are you still on the call?
Oh, sorry. I forgot to unmute myself. So I was saying this song will not kill me. I'm running out of time, but I'm definitely going to provide answer to the best of my knowledge to the questions that have been asked. So first and foremost, you asked about the disparity between an inbuilt leader, or my opinion on inbuilt leaders and trained leaders, and also you asked about how to know a confident or overconfident leader. So number one, I would say sometimes it is not that somebody has two heads. Everybody has one. I have one, you have one. We all are the same. God has created us for different purposes here. However, when we're talking about leadership is more of lifestyle, because politicians are not leaders. Politicians are not the only leaders that we have, sorry. And also, when we have bricklayers, we have tailors. Even those bricklayers and tailors in their association, they have an organization. They have tailor association, they have bricklayer association. They are exercising and also doing what? They are experiencing leadership at that point in time, at that position, at that small thing that they are doing. Do you understand? So when you're talking about inbuilt leadership and trained leadership, I feel like naturally, by way of the way God has created us, I feel like number one, the way God has created us is not equal. Nothing is equal. As you see my fingers, all of them are not equals. There are some people that are born differently here. That the way God has created them, God has created them in such a way and manner that naturally they do some things. For instance, there are some people that naturally they can multitask. It is not that those people they are naturally leaders, but what I would say is God has given them some qualities that are core to leadership. God has given them some qualities that are important to lead the people. However, it's not that they are inbuilt leaders, just that they have some traits, some qualities that helps a leader. So when we're talking about inbuilt leadership or trained leadership, at every point in time, even that person that has more quality, if you do not go through training, if you do not train yourself, you cannot say, okay, because God has given you the opportunity to multitask, you will not read, you will not, gather information, you're not going to stimulate yourself with books, you're not going to, have conversations that helps you. There's no way you are going to thrive in leadership. Learning is a continuous process, just as life is a continuous process. And life is evolving. So something that is existing 2 years, 3 years ago, or that is happening 2 years, 3 years ago, is not the present reality. So there's nothing like, okay, you are built like this. You have to constantly and, occasionally train. You have to train yourself at every point in time. You must go through that process. I said it when I was giving my speech, that the best of leaders are also those people that are going through. The best of leaders are students of leadership. At every point in time, they are learning one thing.
Please, can anyone still hear him?
Yes,
we can hear
Or
you.
is it just me?
We can hear you.
They are learning one thing or
okay.
So when you're talking about inbuilt or trained leadership, in the grand scheme of things, all of us are sons and daughters of training. We must train ourselves, regardless of whether God has given you one quality that is above another person's own. You must at every point in time train yourself, because without training, that skill that you have is going to die, is not going to be useful to you. So you must at every point in time train yourself. So secondly, how do you differentiate between a confident leader and an overconfident leader? So confidence, generally is basically you having the courage to do things, while sometimes, overconfidence, most times, in my own opinion, overconfidence deals with you being garrulous. It deals with you being doing some things that are not necessary. You as leaders, you must know boundaries. You must know how to set boundaries. You must know where to start. You must know where to talk. You must know where to stop. You understand? Just as I said in Aluta, for people that do comradeship, we have 3 C's, we have consultation, we have consolidation before confrontation. So as a good leader, you must know when to be confident. You must know when to take a break. You must know when not to do something. You must know when to react and when not to react. I feel like generally you must just be you must just be good at what you are doing. A good leader should not be, overconfident, in my own opinion. When you are confident, yes, it is definitely going to, it is going to, be of help, and it's going to be of high benefit to the people that you are controlling. However, when you are overconfident, you tend to meddle into affairs that do not necessarily concern you. You tend to do things that they do not necessarily send you to do. So that is how you differentiate between a confident leader and an overconfident leader. A confident leader knows when to stop, knows what to do, knows when to be diplomatic, while an overconfident leader, on the other hand, does not know the clear-cut boundaries, does not know when not to do something. You just believe that, okay, I have so much capacity and tenacity to do this thing, and you continue to do it. So in that instance, in that situation, it is not exactly good for leaders to, be overconfident, because it has more disadvantage than the advantage. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate you for taking our time to talk to us on leadership and decision making. If you know that you've actually learned a lot from the speaker, I want you to use the clap emoji. I want to see our clap emoji. I want to see it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. All right. So during the course of the webinar, I noticed that some persons joined us, and I must say that we have leaders here. So I'm going to be recognizing the leaders that joined us during the course of the meeting. To the Senate President, the National LAWSAN Senate President, thank you so much, Ma. To the National LAWSAN Deputy Senate President, thank you so much, sir. To the Southwestern 01, thank you so much, sir. I think that should be Legal Ideas Forum. Thank you so much, sir. And during the course of the webinar as well, the LAWSAN president joined us as well. Thank you so much, sir. The president of Joseph Ayo Babalola University, thank you so much, sir. The president of Unilag Law, thank you so much, sir. The vice president of Jabo LSS, thank you so much, sir. The Osun State Director LAWSAN, thank you so much, sir. The Osun State Deputy Director, Ma. Yes, Ma. The Lagos State LAWSAN, thank you so much. The Union Osun Law Students Society, thank you so much. I really appreciate you all for joining us.
I'm very sorry to cut Madam Moderator.
I would like to call on the just in 2 minutes. All right, sir.
I'm very sorry to cut you, Madam Moderator. Respect is something respect is something that we hold so much in our culture. My sincere apologies to the number one citizen of the association, the national president of the Law Student Association, who joined us in the course of the meeting. I saw his thumbs up or hands raising. I saw it while I was delivering, but I didn't want to react to it, just not to break or forget or lose touch of what I was saying at that particular point in time. And I especially recognize all dignitaries present. I cannot go over everything that has been said. The president, the deputy senate president, the national senators, everyone present, my leaders, I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so much. Also, I want to apologize that I would not be able to take more questions for this particular meeting, because I have something important to attend to. However, please, I plead with the moderator and the organizers of this event to please take the questions from me. I can answer them and they will send a response back to those people that have asked the question. And also, please, for you to connect with me on Instagram, Ambassador_Richard Solomon, on LinkedIn, Ambassador Richard Solomon, and basically on Twitter, Richard_SWO01. Connect with me. We all can talk. We all are the same, and we all are going to make the best out of life. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate the organizers of this program once again for the invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. You are welcome. Thank you so much for taking out time to talk to us. Really appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to be calling the Osun State Director to quickly address us. Is she here?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I am Oyini Fortuna Deshawa. I am the Osun State Director for LAWSAN, and I am here with my deputy, Ms. Adegoke Adesholakpe. It is an honor to be here, and I have to commend the National Senators in Jabo for organizing this webinar. Leadership and decision making is a very intriguing topic, and I know we all have learned a lot today. I also want to commend the organizers for inviting a very good speaker for this webinar. Actually, Ambassador Richard Solomon is my senior in school, and I can say that all he has said today is not just saying it is what he's practicing. I am sure with all he has said, there's no surprise. He has achieved a lot. And despite his accomplishments, I can say that he's still a very humble, friendly, and very approachable person. Thank you so much for organizing this webinar. I learned a lot, and it's going to help me in my position. I hope you all learned a few lessons today, and I would like to implore everybody here to inculcate what we have learned, to take up leadership positions, and to be of good service to the people. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much, Miss Fortune. I really appreciate you. Okay, so I'm going to be calling on the 001 of the Law Student Society, Joseph Ayo Babalola University, to quickly address us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Akinkoyi Toluwani, serving as the president of Joseph Ayo Babalola University Law Student Society. First and foremost, I would like to appreciate the speaker for such an insightful session. The way he explained the concept with very, very relatable examples was truly, truly remarkable. And one thing, and we can all agree that we learned a lot from this program. And I also like to appreciate the organizers, the National Senators representing Joseph Ayo Babalola University Law Student Society. Thank you for this program. We truly appreciate it. And to the participants, we are grateful for you guys to attend this program. Without you, this program will not be. So it's just left for each and every one of us to apply what we have learned and become great leaders in our respective positions. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toluwani. So, since my Senate President and the Deputy Senate President joined, okay, I'm not supposed to bypass the LAWSAN President, so I would also want him to talk. So, I don't know if the LAWSAN President is still here with us. I just want him to say one or two before I hand over to either my Senate President or the Deputy Senate President to speak. Thank you. Sorry, is the LAWSAN President still here with us? Oh, okay, I guess he isn't. So, to the Senate President, to the National LAWSAN Senate President, Ma, I don't know if you are still here with us. All right, Mr. Toluwani. Okay, can anyone hear me? This is my network. Yes, we can hear you. All right, thanks so much. I was thinking it was my network, but it seems they are no longer on the call. So, Mr. Toluwani Olushola, the Deputy LAWSAN Senate President. Sorry, the LAWSAN Deputy President, Senate President. Please, I want you to address us within just 2 minutes.
Everybody go address.
Wow. Okay. Seems... Okay.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I think to say that I speak the mind of the National Senate when I say that the distinguished senators from Joseph Ayo Babalola University have done extremely well. They've taken their time to curate such a wonderful and insightful webinar, and they've actually taken their time out to find the right guest to my candid opinion. I must say well done to you, well done to the guest, Ambassador Richard Solomon Ayobami. Thank you very much for your continual effort towards the success of the event and towards proper representation of your chapter. It is indeed appreciated. I believe if the Senate President was here herself, she would have said the same, that indeed you have shown that you care for the people you serve. You not only serve Joseph Ayo Babalola University, you serve LAWSAN across the Federal Republic of Nigeria. and you depicted that by showing that you can curate, you can organize a webinar for the entire law students, and I think that is very commendable. Thank you very much for your continued service once again. Thank you.
Okay. I think my network. Okay, thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. So to the co-host and my other senator representing Joseph Ayo Babalola University, I would like to call him Senator Ayobami Olorunfemi to give the closing remarks now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, distinguished law students and non-law students that are present with us. I can see some of us are not law students, but we joined in the webinar. We really appreciate you a lot. To my co-senator from the same shelter, well done. You have really done well this evening. And to all our dignitaries present, all LAWSAN stakeholders present this evening for this webinar, from the zonal directors, the leadership of the Senate, and even the executive arm. So we appreciate you all. It's another thing for us to organize webinar. It's another thing for you all to be present. Thank you for honoring this webinar. We really appreciate for not taking us for granted. I want to promise you that this will not be the last, but a continuous one. We will say there will be several webinars, and hopefully by God's grace, a physical summit will be happening soon. So let's hang around and sit at the job so we can get full details when it's time, when we are done with all preparation. So, and I also want to appreciate our guest speaker in absentia. He has done justice to the topic that we presented to him, leadership and decision making. It's really a core aspect that leadership as upcoming leaders, even as leaders, that we know how to take decisions. It's not enough that we're leaders, but we know how to take decisions. And he has done justice to this, and I think we are taking this moment, and I think we can effectively be good leaders to those that are looking up to us, and I hope that we see this and we keep them different our flags flying high. So I think with this, once again I want to appreciate every one of us for taking out our time to be here. It's not easy. I know we all have one thing on the other to do, but we sacrifice our time to be here. It's not easy. I really appreciate every one of us. So we can just clap ourselves wherever we are, clap for whatever we have done well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ayobami. So yes, there is actually certificate of participation, because this webinar, I know and I must confess, was a very great one. So there is actually certificate of participation. If you are interested, you can text me, or you get more details about it on the group chat. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the call. We really appreciate you. And I wish us all a wonderful night rest. Thank you so much, and bye.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.